Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome live to the Bishan Stadium for another great match day in the AIA Singapore Premier League. Delighted after 211 days, the league returned yesterday with two great games, and there's another two fantastic matchups coming your way this afternoon. We're at Bishan for the Lion City Sailors. The story pre-season all about the big spending Sailors and their quest to become the giants of Singapore football. They take on Geylang International, who ironically are the one team playing today that can go top with a win this afternoon. We'll run you through all that's happened and all that's happening in the AIA Singapore Premier League throughout the course of our broadcast. I'm delighted to be joined by a former Lion City Sailors, Home United as they were then manager, Mr. Philippe Orr alongside me. Philippe, I think a real excitement here. Obviously, unfortunately, no fans in the ground, but every time the Lion City Sailors took to the field pre-COVID, there was a buzz in the air, and it's the same here today as we broadcast live to millions around the world.
Yes, yeah, like you said, you know, they were in pre-season, they were hot favourites for this title. Of course, the two games that they've played, they haven't really kick-started their season. Let's not forget, they just signed their best player, Stipe Plazibat. You know, 2 years ago, he was playing for Home United, and he was tearing down Bishan Stadium, and he's back here at the Bishan Stadium, and he's gonna kickstart their season.
Well, we saw Shuhei Hoshino, didn't we, playing for Balestier yesterday, the Golden Boot winner in 2018. But I think you're right, with all apologies to Jumbo. I think Stipe Plazibat is, of all the players on the market, both in and outside Singapore, the most proven goal scorer at this level in this country. So it was clearly a marquee signing, and one that really stated their intentions. They went with Andy Pangeli, the inexperienced Australian, who brought with him great stats from down under. They only gave him a couple of games, of course. He did get one goal. It was too early to write him off, but bearing in mind the unique circumstances of COVID, I think you can understand the club letting him go back. And once they let go of him, they needed a striker, and they've clearly found someone that fits the bill. You'd be amazed if Stipe Plazibat, with the quality he's got behind him in this team now, doesn't make a strong challenge for a Golden Boot, which, by the way, he already leads because he got 5 goals before the COVID break playing for Hougang.
Yeah, that's right. So the thing is, I think it was a very, very good move. Stipe is settled in, you know, but I think it's a good piece of business to take it away from Hougang United, and that's a big surprise for me. Hougang releasing him to Lion City Sailors.
This one of two games coming your way, both kicking off at 5:30 Singapore time. That's GMT +8. We're here at Bishan, Philippe and myself, for the Sailors taking on Geylang, the Eagles. And over at Jurong West, you can join Duncan Elias, also being broadcast on Singtel Star Hub across the Football Association of Singapore's social media channels and One Play Sports for the Young Lions taking on Albirex Niigata. But our focus, Philippe, is very much going to be here. The attention will always be on the Lion City Sailors for the foreseeable future when they play. But let's not write off Geylang, because as I said, they are the team that take to the field today knowing that they can go top. Bearing in mind Tampines lost yesterday. It will take a 4-0 win, so it's a long shot, but we wouldn't have thought that Tampines would have beaten Lion City Sailors by 4-0. And that happened. So tell us about Noor Ali and what he is going to try and get out of his team and the potential game plan he will employ to stifle that abundance of talent that the Sailors possess.
Yes, for Noor Ali, you know, he spent a year in Japan, and I think that year in Japan have done him well. For me, he is a coach that is tactically astute, and he likes to change things around when he sees the game going on and it's not working for him. He will change it around. So yeah, he will come up with a game plan today to stifle the Lion City Sailors. And yeah, just like yesterday, how Hougang stifled Tampines and shocked. And Zikos, the striker, finished well, and I see that he's sharp. And yeah, it's good for Zikos to be back, you know, because he suffered an ACL injury. And he's like a new signing for Geylang.
Yeah, a couple of big-name players coming back from injury as the teams walk out onto the pitch. We've seen our officials, Mr. Farhad Mohammed, assisted by Manoj Kalwani, Chang Kwok Wai, and the fourth official, Lim Liang Yi. And here are the Lion City Sailors first out in what I'm sure is going to become, over the months and years to come, the distinctive white shirts and blue shorts. They've been afforded every opportunity as they're led out by their skipper Hassan Sunny to dominate this division. Aurelio Vidmar, a coach that comes here with quite a lofty reputation, but there's no exaggeration to say it didn't go according to plan. Are you a believer that the COVID break, as unfortunate as it has been for everyone, came at the right or the wrong time for the Sailors, almost to give them a chance to completely reset? Or do you think Vidmar would have liked to just crack on and put the wrongs of that horrendous Tampines display behind him straight away?
For me, it came at the right time for them. Give Vidmar time to know the players better, and for the players to know what's his expectations, you know, of how he wants to train, how he wants to play. And yeah, definitely the break for me, it's good for Lion City Sailors.
Geylang International on to the arena now. I can't get used to it without seeing them in their famous green and white, led out by a man. He may be Japanese, but he seems to have been in Singapore forever and a day. Their skipper Yuki Ichikawa. And I think Zainal in goal for Geylang is going to be a busy boy this afternoon. So we're almost set for action. Hope you're enjoying wherever you're watching live in the world. We're live across the Singtel and StarHub television networks in Singapore. You can enjoy this live wherever you are around the world on the Football Association of Singapore social media channels and the One Play Sports social media channels as well. You're just noticing we had some fist bumps yesterday. Don't appear to be any fist bumps today. I don't think that's an unfriendly thing. I think that's just, again, the way the Football Association, who've done such a wonderful job in making sure the Singapore Premier League is back, have taken every precaution so these games are played in a safe environment. And if you are new to the AIA Singapore Premier League, just to let you know, every single player from all 8 squads, and Brunei in fact as well, were tested for COVID-19 and passed. Let's check out the starting lineups now. All manner of talent on the bench. Obviously the headline player will be Stipe Plazibat, but talk us through some of the other difference makers in that side.
Well, Stipe had a very good season when he was here, and his partner in crime is Song Yi-yong. And Song will be very, very happy to have Stipe back here. And for me, these two will cause trouble to Geylang.
And great to see Adam Swandy on the way back. Gabriel Pratt, there's some talent on that bench as well, isn't there?
Yes, the talent on the bench, they're all Singapore internationals.
Are you surprised to see Kaishu Yamazaki having to make do with a place on the bench? I mean, he's a proper unit. Did you think he'd start today?
I think he picked up some niggling injury, and that's why he's on the bench.
Yeah,
if not, he'll be a definite starter.
Erring on the side of caution. Let's switch now to Geylang International. Lots of familiar names from that Geylang dynasty. Obviously, they got back Barry Maguire after his delayed restart due to the work permit. Christopher Van Heusen, and Zaffarul is a new name in their ranks post-COVID.
Yes, Zaffarul has rejoined the Eagles from Tampines Rovers. He spent 2 years with Geylang before going to Tampines, and he's back with Coach Noor Ali.
One thing you will say, we talked about the attacking talent on the bench for the Sailors. If Geylang International were chasing a goal late, well, Khairul Nizam and Iqbal Hussain, 2 enigmatic players. They're rather unpredictable. At their best, they can be unplayable, as we saw against the Young Lions before the COVID interruption. But they've got attacking options, and in fact, that for me is the key to this game. I'm not expecting a 0-0 draw here. Are you, Philippe?
No, it's definitely going to be goals here. Geylang going to sit back, soak the pressure, and then put on Khairul Nizam and Iqbal, and then surprise Lion City Sailors.
Well, it's safe to say that Sailors fans expect, but in the context of the Lion City Sailors, the artists formerly known as Home United, becoming Singapore's first privatised football club, there's a buzz around the football community in Singapore. Singapore expects the Lion City Sailors chasing their first win of the season in their 3rd attempt, taking on Geylang International, who were second before yesterday's wins for Balestier and Hougang, but can go to the top of the table with a 4-0 win here. Plenty to play for. It's the Lion City Sailors in the white and blue playing from left to right in this first half as you watch with us. Geylang International in their change kit of black and gold playing from right to left. Philippe Orr alongside myself, bringing the action live, waiting for our match official, Farhad Mohammed, to get us underway. And away we go. And I wonder whether this is the start of a pattern of Lion City Sailors dominating possession. Long ball played out from the back, and it was well read in the middle of the park by Ferdhouse. And Geylang International with their first chance to put their foot on the ball. Just looking at their formation-wise, looks like the Lion City Sailors are playing a back four. Would you expect a back four from Geylang as well?
Yeah, that's right. A back four for Geylang as well. Yuki leading the line. And Zikos now on the ball. Yes, that's Derrante at right back.
We will keep you up to date with the score, by the way, at Jurong West. They are underway between the Young Lions and Albirex Nagata. Here's Geylang International. Their chance to put some pressure on early and go into the area. Just ran out of real estate there, but that was promising. Probing down the right-hand side, and that's what they're going to have to do. Try and get in behind the Lion City Sailors and identify Zikos in the middle on the end of any crosses that might come forward. But no, look, man, foraging early.
Yeah, Zikos, you know, he may be young, but he's a big boy. And his strength is aerially he's strong as well. So, yeah, crosses into the box, you know, because for a long time, you know, this player hasn't played a competitive game. So it's good to test your opponents early on.
Now, I'm not a fan of this short goal kick routine. As I've mentioned several times, Akari managed to get away with what could have been a nervous moment for him there.
Well, Patrick, the top teams all play short passes out of defense.
I mean, you're a top-class coach, Philippe, of course. You're currently working with the Singapore under-16s. And even at that age group now, are you encouraging them to play out short goal kicks from the back?
Yes, of course. I mean, we want to develop the players. So yes, we educate them to play short passes. But of course, we need to educate them when to play the long passes as well.
Well, it's always something that leaves me with my heart in my mouth as a neutral. You always worry about defences, but clearly, if you're extolling the virtues of it, Philippe, I've got the utmost respect for your coaching abilities, and that was a loose pass that was very nearly picked up on by Chris Van Heusen, who's already been in the goals this season. Now a first chance for Stipe Plaza, about to try and get on the ball, but it's well read by Harith Kanadi, who's in a busy boy down the left-hand side, and they'll alleviate the pressure for the foul on third outs. But a competitive start from both teams here through the first 2.5 minutes, Philippe.
Yeah, both teams not giving the opponents time on the ball and applying pressure, and that's the result of so many turnovers now between both teams.
Well, with one shock already in the books this weekend, I mean, I know Geylang are the team that can go top, but it still will go down as a shock if the Lion City Sailors can't pick up 3 points here. And Aurelio Vidmar, an Australian coach that comes with a lofty reputation, has been in charge of the Australian national team on a caretaker basis, various younger age groups. There's a great bit of commitment shown there by Akari. He looks up for this early. Yeah, he comes with a lofty reputation, and obviously I'm assuming, I'm not privy to his contractual status, Philippe, but he'll be being paid accordingly. I can see Lion City Sailors chairman Forrest Lee in attendance here today. He'll want to see this game won because, you know, there's one thing that football hasn't got in the modern era, and that one thing is patience. It doesn't matter who you are, what club you're managing, patience is in short supply.
Definitely, if you are the hot favourites for the title, you know, time is something that is premium, and yeah, Vidmar will definitely need to go for a win today and 3 points to kickstart their season.
I mean, obviously the league table, I'm not one for looking at league tables till the games are about half a dozen in, but on the face of it, you've got to remember the Lion City Sailors here start 8th in a 9-team league with just 1 point from 2 games. They've got games in hand, or 3 of them in hand over the top 2, Balestier Khalsa and Tampines Rovers. So if you were going to look at it literally, they win their 3 games in hand, starting with this one today, of course, they would go top. So the league table is a little bit misleading. They say the league table never lies, but I think in this case, Philippe, it might be telling a couple of half-truths.
Yeah, that's right, because of how our league we only have 9 teams, so some teams will not play in a certain weekend. That's why, and yeah, well, let's not look at the tables so early this season, you know. Maybe another 4 or 5 games, and then, yeah, it paints a better picture.
Now, Stipe Plaza had to target with his head here, so they can try and loft this into the area. Geylang playing a high line just in front of the edge of the penalty area. They decide to go back before they go forward. And now it's drifted over the top, and that's a challenging header that's gone straight to a Lion City Sailor. And in the ensuing melee, Hafiz Noor ends up, I think, was there a suspicion of handball or offside? They're either way, Geylang survived, but it's always a tricky one to deal with, isn't it, when it comes up to you with not much pace in the middle of the penalty area for a defender, but surely you've got to be heading that left or right, not back through the centre, because it very nearly left Hafiz Noor with an attempt on goal there, Philippe.
Yes, so Darren Tay's header had no height, had no distance. Yeah, lucky for him, the ball cannon off Hafiz Noor's arm.
Kanadi with a heavy touch. It's well won in the middle of the park by Arshad. Still a little bit scrappy though, Stipe Plaza. I always think that's a bad sign when your front man has to drop back deep to affect play early on. But Stipe Plaza, he's been very busy on social media. He's clearly up for this move. He left, I think, Hougang in the right way, didn't he, Philippe? Of course, you've managed Hougang and Home United, Lion City Sailors. He was thankful to the Hougang Halls, and I think everyone understanding that it's a move that was the right move for the player, and I think Hougang are appreciative of the goals he scored for them last season to catapult them to AFC Cup action. Stipe Plazavet shows his frustration there. And one thing, when we're looking at Stipe Plazavet's game today, and I want you to monitor this for me closely, Philippe, is one sign I found with Andy Pangeli. He wasn't given any service. He was, you know, whether it was he was the wrong player in the wrong formation, or I'm not sure what it was, but he didn't see enough of the ball. And obviously, I don't think Stipe Plazavet's going to be as shy as Andy Pangeli in expressing his displeasure as Barry Maguire misses out in the middle of the park. Yeah,
definitely. Stipe is a player that likes to come and link up play as well. But of course, you know, if you play long behind, he will make runs as well.
He made a run there, getting behind, and Norala sending that out for the first corner of the game, so a set piece opportunity. And it'll be interesting to see. I think this is where sometimes the clever coaches really work on these set-piece routines. Make out. I think in modern-day football, corners don't tend to be converted as often as they should be. I think that's obviously largely parts of defending is so sophisticated now, but it's incredible how often you don't see a clear-cut opportunity presented from a corner. And now I've said that, the commentators curse will mean that one comes up here. Former Tampines man Shardan with the corner, delivered deep, heads are up, and getting ahead to it was Tajeli! And my word, that is not a piece of goalkeeping that Zaina will look back on fondly. And inside 8 minutes, the Sailors get the dream start. But my word, how on earth has that got past Zaina? A very innocuous header from Tajeli opens the scoring 8 minutes in.
Yep, it was a far post delivery and was not well defended by Geylang. And the man that we all spoke about, Stipe Plazibat.
Yeah, Stipe Plazibat got the final touch. It looked innocuous from Tajeli initially, but the defending not there, and that's what they've paid the big money for. Credit to Tajeli for getting something on it, and I think Yuji Ichikawa is going to have to stand up and take part responsibility for that. And just as I said, commentators curse that teams don't score often enough from corners. Bang! 8 minutes in, Sailors 1, Geylang 0. And Stipe Plazibat with his 6th goal of the season, and I think with the number of games that the Sailors have got left, he's probably going to think 20 goals is going to be a poor return. Now, Barry Maguire wants this, but the square ball couldn't find him into Jelly, who will go down for an assist, I think, with that goal, scored by Stipe Plazibat.
Yep, just the last play there, it was good run by Lukman to come behind, but his final ball has got to be better.
That really was a disastrous start for Noor Ali, because I think Geylang International's game plan would have been to try and frustrate the Sailors, because even though it's 212 days since that league was suspended way back in March, bearing in mind the 2 results they had, if you'd have been able to contain them through the first half, first hour of the game, you know, they might see the kind of response that Tampines got out of the Sailors, where they just seemed devoid of ideas in the second half. They were very one-dimensional then. Early days with that goal in the set piece, people almost want to see the Sailors with more than one way of getting through to beat teams.
That's right, but it's going to take some time before they get into the groove. You know, it's been too long since they play games. Let's not forget, they didn't even play a friendly match coming into this tournament.
Yes, I was speaking to Marko Krajovic there, the manager of Balestier yesterday, just outside the stadium. We obviously aren't allowed to talk inside the stadium. And he was telling me that, you know, even these training sessions have been very restrictive in terms of what they can do. You can't even play 11 on 11 internally. So it has been tough. And that's one of the reasons, by the way, we'll be having water breaks in the 25th and 70th minutes as Geylang pick up a free kick. And 5 substitutions allowed in. 4 breaks if you include substitutions made at half-time. We didn't see all those substitutes utilised yesterday at Geelong East. I'm getting a feeling, bearing in mind the strength and depth of these benches, we'll be seeing them utilised by Aurelia Vidmar and Noor Ali this afternoon. So
for sure, if you got a big squad with, especially Lion City Sailors with the bench they have on today, these 5 subs, it's going to be an advantage to them.
We've got a goal here, and we've got an early goal as well at Geelong West, because Albrecht Stegata lead Young Lions by a goal to 0. What a start, dream start for the Lion City Sailors. Philippe Orr alongside me, enjoying what he's seeing so far from his former club and, well, Geylang International. One thing I will say, they have looked like they're prepared to come forward, and they've had some joy down that right-hand side. Big responsibility now on the shoulders of Barry Maguire, their Dutch midfielder, to try and really rally the troops in the middle of the park, because he's, I'm assuming, going to have an ongoing battle with his literal opposite number in Shardan. They're going to be at it, hammer and tongs for control of the midfield, and Barry Maguire's let that one go, and that's let the Sailors in here. There's an opportunity, it's opened up momentarily for Arshad, and then the follow-up effort well blocked. But at the moment, that's handball. Barry Maguire is having a disaster through the first 11 minutes, the midfield maestro for Geylang, and this is a set-piece opportunity in a really promising piece of real estate, Philippe, and that was needless. Barry Maguire with 2 mistakes in 30 seconds.
Yeah, just plain, just rustiness, you know. Long time out, not playing competitive football, and it's going to take some time. And let's not forget, this Bishan Stadium pitch is a natural grass pitch, and for Geylang, they have been training at our Tampines hub, which is the AstroTurf.
Yeah, it's a very good point as well. And the ground staff have done a great job here, but it doesn't look pristine, this Bishan service, which has been troublesome in the past. Now Chardin, this is a familiar sight in Tampines colours last season. Chardin over a free kick. From the way he's shaping up to take this, I don't think he's going to go for goal. It's not really the natural angle for a right footer. If you had a left foot thunderbolt in your team, you'd be lining him up for this. But Chardin, I think, is going to try this. This is like a training ground routine. They've got a man on the penalty spot coming back. Stipe Plazabat, plenty of movement from Stipe. Headed up only as far as Tajeli again. He's already come up with one assist, and that's a decent cross as well. Headed away only as far as the edge of the area. They build up again. On the turn is Arshad, can't get there, and it's out for a goal kick. And Geylang International survive. I don't care who the teams are, Philippe, but 1-0, you're always going to be in it. Once it gets to 2-0, it really is mountain to climb territory.
Yes, so for Geylang, you know, yes, they had a poor start, considered a poor goal, but just stay in there, you know, pick it up, let it be 1-0, and yeah, chances going to come for you, for sure, especially in the second half, if they can put on Iqbal, Faris Fahan and Karuniza.
Harith Kanadi involved in a nice bit of initial movement from Geylang, but it's come to nothing. Noor Ali's job, I think, from the touchline here is going to be important. He's got to keep his side's confidence up. They'll know that the Lion City Sailors have conceded in both games they played prior to the COVID suspension. That 1-1 draw against Tanjung Pagar when Jan Motta scored from a corner. And obviously that 4-0 rout by Tampines, Boris Kapotovic, Mehedovich and Jordan Webb, along with Sharan, getting the goals in what was one-way traffic in the second stanza. That goal was 0-0 at half-time as Stipe Plazabat is pinged. Well, it's a dream start for the Lion City Sailors. If you're just joining us as we take a look back at Stipe Plazabat, I think being flagged for offside there. 8 minutes in, a corner badly defended by Geylang International. Tajeli got a head on it, and Stipe Plazabat doing what they've paid the big money for, lurking on the 6-yard box. And that's the difference. I mean, we go back to that game yesterday. I know you were watching Tampines and Hougang. I was at Jurong East yesterday watching Tanjung Pagar and Balestier, and I think you've watched the highlights yourself. The highlights, of course, available on the Football Association of Singapore social media channels. Check all the highlights out post-match. They had 3 or 4 opportunities in that second half, Tanjung Pagar. Faritz had one. And they really, Sarrar as well, Sarrar Prakash had one. They're the kind of opportunities that if you've got a Stipe Plazabat in your side, they are goals. They're not just chances, they're goals. Yes,
Patrick, strikers are worth their money. That's why, you know, some strikers are worth 50 million pounds, 100 million pounds, because they can score goals. You give it a half a chance and they finish it. Yeah, Tanjung Pagar yesterday had 3-4 clear-cut chances in front of goal, and they couldn't finish it.
That's disappointing as well from a Geylang point of view, because he was crowded out in the middle of the park there, but somehow Saifullah still came up with the ball. Just looking at these possession stats through the first 15 minutes of the game, I think the Lion City Sailors, as you'd expect, enjoying the most possession, but they're creating space in midfield, which will be a concern. And that's the ball over the top. They're looking for an offside flag there, and it does come. He just timed that run incorrectly, Hafiz Noor.
So, Patrick, you said you don't like the short passes game, and that last attack was a long ball by Hassan Sadi.
Yeah.
And second ball was picked up by the Lion City Sailors midfield.
Yeah, well,
and then, you know, yeah, so we're not saying that short passing game is the only way.
Here come Geylang. Sorry to interrupt you, Philip. I thought Geylang were going to be away there. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, listen, I've had this argument on Twitter during my commentaries in the first half of this season. There was a couple of people saying, you know, like, there's a reason for doing it. You want to try and maintain possession. I just think sometimes, and you mentioned it earlier, it's about the quality of players you've got to execute.
That's right.
And obviously the level of opposition that are trying to, you know, press you down and turn the ball over.
Yeah,
so far so good. I must point out, from my knowledge to this point, there hasn't been a goal scored in the Singapore Premier League this season from a calamitous short goal kick routine. One will inevitably come, but I think the fact that we've had the games before the restart, and now, of course, 2 games yesterday and a game today where it hasn't cost the team dear, may lay some foundations to the theory that it is the way to go, but we shall see. I managed to get a goal scored from a corner, having said that I didn't think there were many goals scored from corners lately. Here they come again. Oh, he just put too much juice on that, didn't he? Song Yeong just put too much foot through that. He's going to be putting the strings in the middle of the park for the Sailors this afternoon. There's still something in this game for Geylang, you fancy?
Definitely, definitely. The game's not over. We've still got a long way to go. And let's not forget, fitness levels will play a part.
Stipe Plazabat taking less than 8 minutes to open his account in Lion City Sailors colours. Harith Kanadi's closed down well. They win the free kick though. Chris van Heusen. I think I'd like to be seeing Chris van Heusen attempting a couple of long-range efforts. He scored those 2 goals against Hougang from quite a fair way out. As Ichikawa, who was arguably responsible for the goal, plays a lovely pass to Van Heusen. And Van Heusen's delivered a decent ball in the middle as well. And there's a chance for the equaliser, and he's put it over. Oh, my word. Will Geylang get a better opportunity than that? Lovely ball through from Chris van Heusen. And Zikos, well, we've already had a dream start.
So that was Lukman with a great chance.
Oh, Lukman over the top of Zikos. What a ball from Chris van Heusen. It's all about the ball, but he's got to score from there, hasn't he? Hassan Sunny was advancing. You've just got to try and find a way of keeping that ball down.
So he had a good idea. He wanted to lift the ball over Hassan, but just applied too much power. But Geylang having many opportunities coming down the right. You know, Lukman has gone past Naikudin 3 times already, and that third time should have been the equalizer.
Yeah, they're not looking rock solid at the back so far, the Lion City Sailors. Speaking of not looking rock solid at the back, looks like it's going to be a long evening for the Young Lions. They trail 2-0. Flag stays down here. Lion City Sailors, it's end-to-end stuff. Is this 2-0 for the Sailors? First chance is spurned. Shot comes in deflected. And they've made a mess of that, and on the follow-up, they're offside. But the Lion City Sailors, there's an example of maybe where they could have been more ruthless. And I just wondered there whether there was a hesitation to look up and try and find out where Stipe Plazabat was, because he could have gone for goal himself here.
Just at the last moment, Hafiz Noor's first touch was letting him down.
But surely, if you've not got Stipe Plazabat in the team, Hafiz Noor's just head down, bearing on goal. It's almost like he wanted to look up to see where Stipe was. Ichikawa. When it's open, it's attractive. I think we've had more chances in the first 20 minutes here than we had in the whole first half at Jurong East yesterday. Not the case, by the way, at OTH. Blockbusting game between Tampines Hub and Hougang. Sailors now go back to try and build. There's a touch for Tajeli. Here's Abdil. It's a proper big unit, Abdil, isn't he? He gets it to Saifullah. And they go all the way back now to Hassan Sunny, of course. This is the luxury of making the early breakthrough. You can afford these spells of play where you just try and frustrate the opposition by playing keep ball, Philippe.
Yeah, definitely. You're 1 goal up. You don't have to rush things. And you invite your opponents to come forward.
Abdil again. Patient build-up from the Lion City Sailors. Abdil, though, oof, that was dangerous. He needed Shardan to come to his rescue there because Barry Maguire was lurking. And those 2 number 8s, Barry Maguire and Shardan, they are shadowing each other all over the field. I'm trying to work out who's been instructed to man-mark you. I'm assuming Barry Maguire's been instructed to man-mark Shardan. They've coughed up possession. And a long-range effort with Hassan Sunny off his line. And Zafarul, if he'd have got a bit more purchase and height on that, might have been in business.
That's a good idea. Good idea, because he saw Hassan Sunny off the line. Every
time they come forward, though, the Sailors, they look in business. Stipe Plazabat for 2! Some save Zainal. Lovely running off the ball from Stipe Plazabat, helped create the chance. The flag stayed down, and Zainal keeps Geylang within touching distance, but they'll have to defend another corner. What an opportunity this was, Philippe.
Yes, that's the strength of Stipe, isn't it? Getting behind the defense. That was a good shot, but Zainal did well.
Yeah, that was struck with some venom as well. I don't think it's not one of those efforts that Stipe Plazabat would like to have back. I think it was a decent attempt. The upshot is there's a corner to defend. Shardan is over to take it on that far side. Stipe Plazabat lurks. Abdil up from the back is certainly a tall presence. Now, what does Shardan do here with the in-swinger? They've scored from a corner with an outswinger. The in-swinger is to no one in particular, and I don't think they realised they had as much time as they did Geylang. It's just out for a throw. But crucially, they managed to survive. We're just 3.5 minutes away from the first water break of the afternoon. Water breaks going to be taken in the 25th and 70th minute as part of the FAS's safe protocols to ensure a safe return to everyone to enjoy the Singapore Premier League. With the outside of the foot, that was a rather flamboyant cross from Song Leong. Didn't reach Stipe Plazabat, but it's gone to Chardin over on that far side. Chardin's cross, missed out Stipe again, and that was a very important loose ball. That as well, Kant, you've mentioned it, to training on that surface at our Tampines Hub, it's a very different environment here at Bishan.
Definitely. You know, I used to be a player here at Home United, and we play on this pitch, and visiting teams come here and they struggle on the pitch.
Geylang International have won their first corner, so they'll be fully aware that the Lion City Sailors' defence was breached by a corner on match day 1 by Tanjung Pagar. It was Jan Motta on that occasion that got the goal. Who's going to step up for the Eagles now? Can somebody soar like their name suggests? I can see Forrest Lee, the chairman of the Lion City Sailors, looking relatively happy to this point. He'll be wanting them to deal with this corner threat, though. Over to take it, Chris Van Hughes, and his delivery's been immaculate thus far. Barry Maguire's a big unit from the back, and Ichikawa, he's also a threat from these kind of positions.
Yeah, for many years now, Yuki has scored from set pieces. He's a big threat, and Stipe is marking him.
Corner delivery is good, Hassan Sunny. Not Singapore's #1 for nothing. And look at this quick release, and all of a sudden, it's 3-on-3. The Lion City's trying to break quickly. Not sure that was the right decision. Trying to square it to Saifullah, who's unable to keep that in, and that's one that Song Leong would want back. That's the trouble, though, even with Song Leong. Every time they come into the final third, everyone's looking up. Where's Stipe? And, of course, on that occasion, he was back helping out in defence. As Genius Sports, our official stat suppliers, remind us that the Lion City Sailors lead the corner count by 2-1. Confirm the corner count, I think 3-1 in the Lion City Sailors' favour. Nice touch from Chardin. Oh, he's opened up brilliantly there, and look at the run coming in. Zaido having to be off his mark quickly there, and of course with all the attention on Stipe, we've already seen it a couple of times. Hafiz Noor is enjoying plenty of space over on that left-hand side, Philippe.
Yes, with the attention of the centre-backs on Stipe, what's going to happen is Hafiz Noor going to make these runs behind the defence line. And that time, just a bit too hard from Chardin.
Barry Maguire, I tried to find Chris Van Heusen. That was a little bit too lackadaisical. And that's going to be a throw to the Lion City Sailors. So just over the half-hour mark, Philippe, what have you made of it so far? The Lion City Sailors will be happy enough. It's been an attractive, open game. But again, they're going to need another goal to put this to bed, because particularly with the likes of Iqbal Hussain and Kara Nizar, an option on the bench, they're going to need a cushion here, because Geylang are still capable of striking. They weren't second in the table before COVID struck by accident.
Yes, Patrick, I'm glad both teams came out to play positive football today. You know, even Geylang having a go at Home United, at Lion City Sailors, sorry, hoping to come behind and trying to score goals. And that's where they had one of the great chance through Lukman, who just unfortunately lifted the ball over Hassan Sani.
That's something for Harith Kanadi to deal with here. He's trying to shield this out for a goal kick. I'm not sure that was the wisest idea. Again, going back to the difference in surfaces, the ball tends to hold up when it's going slowly more on these grass pitches than it does on the artificial surface, and he's been bailed out by the assistant referee who's given the free kick. You are watching live from Singapore's Bishan Stadium, the second day of action after 211 days break of the AIA Singapore Premier League, coming to you live across Sington and StarHub, the Football Association of Singapore social media channels, and the One Play Sports Network as well. A warm welcome wherever you're watching around the world. You're watching the headline act going into the season with Aurelio Vidmar, who's just got the ball back to his player there for the throw. The Lion City Sailors looking for their first win of the season, having played 2, drawn 1 and lost 1 before the suspension against Geylang International, who started the weekend second. They're down to 4th, but could still go top if they win by 4 today. And Chris Van Heusen's on the charge to try and get them back on level terms in this one, but it's out for a goal kick. But they are managing to enjoy some success down the flanks, particularly Chris Van Heusen. Looks like he's got it in him to give now Kudin and Abdil a hard time on that left-hand side.
Yes, Geylang, you know, when they play quick forward, quick through Maguire and to the flanks, they found success and they've come behind. But however, the quality of crosses needs to be better.
Stipe Plazabat trying to knock that on for Arshad. It comes to naught. Yuki Ichikawa, the Geylang skipper. And Now they'll try and spread it to this near side where Chris Van Heusen takes the touch, comes inside nicely, gets the better of Arshad, and his switch played beautifully there, and it could open up for an attempt on goal here from far out. Barry Maguire now needs to get it out from under his feet, finds Van Heusen. They're queuing up the Geylang players in the box. Van Heusen dancing into the area. Decent cross, can they finish? Off the line! Great move from Geylang International, the best passenger player in the match so far by either side. And the Lion City Sailors coming up trumps defensively, and was that Tajeli again? What an influence he's having on this match in the first half an hour.
Again, you know, the Geylang player, Van Heusen, he started all this. Oh, what a great cross. And yes, it's Tajeli with the clearance.
Well, Tajeli's come up with an assist, and now he's come up with a line saver. I'm not entirely sure it was going into the back of the net from that angle, but one thing's for sure, lurking there to knock it in was Nur Luckman, who does look like Geylang International's most likely goal-scoring threat so far. But take a bow, Chris Van Heusen. His delivery's been exquisite down the left so far.
Yeah. Oh, great play from Maguire.
Yeah, Barry Maguire now twisting and turning, and that's a fluff clearance. They've got away with it, and that'll go back into the hands of Hassan Sunny. And there was another example of the surface. That wasn't a true bounce. The goalkeeper's nightmare, isn't it? The ball dipping low just before it comes through on the bounce to them. Tell you what, I'm going to make a confident prediction here, Philippe. We've not seen the last of the goal scoring. This is a really open, attractive game of football, isn't it? Yes,
it's good for the resumption. You know, it's an entertaining game here at Bishan Stadium, and for all the fans watching, I'm sure they are all very happy to see this, both sides attacking each other.
Just inside 10 minutes to half-time here at Bishan. Lion City Sailors 1, Geylang International 0 at Geelong West. Young Lions 0, Albrechts Nagata 2. Inside goes Arshad. Arshad twisting and turning. Arshad does well to get goal side of Van Heusen, but again, the weight of the pass just lacking as Akari was trying to run onto it. And now there's an injury over on that far side, and they are going to need the physio's involvement here. That's more like it. I've missed the green and white Geylang shirts. The physio, you'll see a shot of him in a minute, coming on with that famous green and white of Geylang. Because unless I'm much mistaken, I'm now getting confused. Geylang's away kit's identical to Tampines Rovers' home kit now, isn't it, almost?
That's right.
I can't keep up. I'm very old school. I like the days when clubs had shirts that lasted 3 or 4 seasons, Philippe.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, you know, every season they try and change something just to make things interesting.
And make money, I think is the phrase you're looking for there, Philippe. Not interesting, make money. Well, they haven't had to use a substitution yet. Remember, 5 up their sleeves, but that was a nervous moment for them because they won't want to be losing Darren Tate early, and he does look in some discomfort. The players have taken this opportunity, well, Geylang's players have, to use this as an unofficial water break where Nur Ali, who's one of the good guys of Singapore football, is down there giving some instructions to Chris Van Heusen now. There's already a Vidmar having a chat with Akari. Will Vidmar be happy? His team are leading here, but he'll be a little bit concerned defensively, or, I mean, am I being a bit too picky? Will he just be pleased they're in front approaching half-time?
Well, they have, both teams had chances. The difference is they have Stipe, while Geylang have young Zikos. That's the big difference for me.
Yeah, well, Zikos Chua, Nur Luckman's had the best of the opportunities for Geylang as well. That was a gilt-edged opportunity. And that's the point. You put Stipe Plazamat in that position where Nur Luckman is when that effort went over the bar. Is it the goal?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
That was going back to what we talked about, Tanjan Bagar. So there's obviously a reason why they've gone for Stipe Plazamat. And I will, after this passage of play, try and defend the Lion City Sailors spending. That was an important defensive header as Barry Maguire got himself in a forward position. Barry Maguire almost playing centre forward at the moment. They seem to be alternating who's playing up front for Geylang. I mean, it must be mentioned that prior to Stipe Plazamet's arrival, it wasn't like the Lion City Sailors had gone out and spent big on foreign talent. And I think the ethos of what the project they're trying to build there with Luka Lalic, the renowned youth coach, is they're trying to build with local talent, aren't they? They're trying to develop a youth academy culture there. So it's not just all about spending the most money. There's a long-term plan in place for the Sailors, which is encouraging for the long-term future of Singapore football, which I know is something you're very passionate about, Philippe.
Yes, Patrick, you know, before the Lion City Sailors, we had Home United. And Home United had his mantra where they focus on youth development as well.
Arshad, keeper spilled it, and that was a very, very important touch from Darren Tate. Zainal got something to it, and it turned out to be just enough because Darren Tate was lurking rather than a sailor. Well, I'll tell you something, Philippe, I'm trying to pass the time of day with you and get the lowdown on the development of local talent in Singapore, but this game's so open and attractive, we're struggling to maintain a conversation. Every time we have a chat, a chance comes. It's been a game full of chances so far.
Definitely, both sides have created many chances. And we're approaching the last 5 minutes of this first half, and the concentration levels of the players have to be spot on.
Of course, we'll have at least a couple of minutes of injury time. We've had an injury to Darren Tay. We had the minutes water break, so I'd imagine at least 2 minutes will be shown by the fourth official. Our fourth official this afternoon, Lim Yang Yi. But the only goal of the game so far coming in the 8th minute from a Chardin corner. It's a jelly header, not cleared by Geylang. And Stipe Plazovic lurking as we get another chance to look back. That good work. And Darren Tay, if he doesn't get there, I think that was Hafiz Noor again, was it, lurking over on that far side? Hafiz Noor on another day might have had a hat-trick in this first half.
Yeah, there was an important touch from Darren.
Oof. Oh, it's Barry Maguire is not too polite in telling Arshad to get out the way. Here's Ichikawa. Down the line, looking for the run of Nur Luqman. Nur Luqman will go down, no whistle. Or would that go out for a corner, though? Now the referee, I think the assistant referee is pinging Nur Luqman for maybe grabbing out at the Lion City Sailor over on that far side. Yes, when we go through the possession stats, our official stats partner at Genius, it's not as clear-cut as you'd think. I think unofficially 51-49 in Lion City Sailors' favour, and they both had 3 attempts on goal. Lion City Sailors with 2 on target. Geylang International with 1. But again, I am a stat man, Philippe. I love my stats. There's only one stat that matters, and that's the stat in the top left-hand corner of your screen that says the Sailors lead here by a goal to 0.
Yeah, regards possession, because even Geylang, they like to play their game with short passes and through midfield. And that's why there's a balance in possession. Yeah,
it's been an attractive match. They've not cancelled each other out here. They've both coughed up opportunities. And here's Stipe Plazovic with another. Plazovic trying to thread it through. And I wonder again in hindsight whether he doesn't wish he'd have pulled the trigger there on the edge of the area, because they stood off it. It won't be too often that Stipe Plazovic's given that kind of space across the edge of the area. But I suppose a good sign in terms of the team ethic that he decided to try and thread this through rather than go for goal himself.
Yeah, he saw the run of Hafiz Noor. And Hafiz Noor has been making these runs throughout the whole of first half.
Is it too early to suggest that Hafiz Noor and Stipe Plazovic are going to be the strike partnership in the AIA Singapore Premier League 2020?
Let's not forget Song Yu-yong.
Of course. It's an attacking trio. Now, Maguire, Van Heusen, it's behind him. That's interrupted the momentum of this build-up, but Van Heusen has looked the most lively player for the Eagles thus far. That's a good ball to find Harith Kanadi. Harith Kanadi now. He needs an option, someone running in front of him. He gets that from Van Heusen, who's bundled out the way recklessly, as it turned out, by Sai Fuller. And that'll be a free kick, just about in range. And we've talked multiple times about those 2 goals Geylang scored from Van Heusen against Taogang. And unless I'm much mistaken, one of them, albeit at the opposite end of the field as you watch on TV and at a different stadium, was an identical position to this. So I wonder if Van Heusen will buy another ticket to the raffle here and hope that Hassan Sunny makes the same kind of mistake. I have to say, I don't think Hassan Sunny will be allowing a shot from this kind of range to go past him, but I think Van Heusen's going to try nonetheless.
Well, yesterday in the our Tampines Hub, Sahil surprised Shazwan Buhari.
Caught him right out on the near post, didn't he? You can catch that goal as well as all the highlights on the Football Association of Singapore's social media channels. You're watching live AIA Singapore Premier League action. Second day back from the restart. Van Heusen goes for the cross. Hassan Sunny hesitates. And it's another opportunity. Was that Ichikawa?
Yeah,
over
Stipe
on that far side.
Stipe with an important touch to deny Yuki.
Yeah, Ichikawa very nearly got there. And I'm really impressed with Stipe Plazovic's all-round game. He's up for this. He's been talking the talk on social media in the build-up to the restart. And now he's walking the walk. He's come up with a goal. In another day might have had a couple of assists. And there he stops Ichikawa for what might have been 1-1. Net result is the second quarter of the game to Geylang. They haven't looked bomb-proof at the back yet, the Lion City Sailors, and this would be an ideal time if they could get the equaliser here, Philippe, to send them into the break with their tails up.
Yes, what a time to find the equaliser. For Coach Noor, he will then have to change his halftime team talk, because now we're trailing 1 goal. I'm sure he has something to tell the team. But if you're going to find an equaliser, then something changes.
As will Aurelio Vidmar. Hassan Sunny, safe pair of hands, gets there. And they already tried this once, the quick counter from a corner. They've got numbers up and support arriving fast with Stipe Plazovic. And that's a delightful ball through the middle. Hafiz Noor this time beats the keeper. Can't finish it off. Well, that was sensational from Lion City Sailors on the counter. I don't think there was more than 3 passes in that move from Hassan Sunny to Hafiz Noor, knocking it past Zainul, and it was almost Pele-like the way Hafiz Noor sent it past Zainul, but just couldn't get to the other side, and it was Darren Tate that saved a certain second goal for the Lion City Sailors.
Well done, Darren Tate. Never ever gave up. Many players would have just stood there.
Well, Arshad's gone down. They want a decision. They're not going to get it. Now, let's see if Geylang can play this out effectively from the back. The answer is no. They've coughed up possession very nearly to Stipe Plazibat. Now to the edge of the area it comes. Twisting and turning, trying to get a shot away. Plazibat had it taken off its toes, but the Lion City Sailors, we're awaiting confirmation. I don't know if we've seen from the 4th official. It's 1 minute, I'm being told. Just the 1 minute to be added on for stoppages. I thought we might have got a little bit more than that with Darren Tate's injury and the water break, but just the 60 seconds, of which we're halfway through it already. So end-to-end action to end the first half here at Bishan. The Lion City Sailors living up to their billing, but the Geylang International boys, the Eagles, not going down here without a fight. Still very much game on at Bishan, and that's what we are now. Game on, back in the SPL. Arshad, Zainul, they want the penalty, and they're going to get it right on half-time. Well, Philippe Paul will have to have a look at the replay here, and it's a red card as well. Oh, my word, from bad to worse for Geylang. Just as we were building this up as a contest in the second stanza, Zainul sees red, and it's a penalty that Plazibat's certain to take. And what do you make of this, Philippe Paul?
Oh, it's a good run from Arshad and an excellent ball.
He led with his feet, didn't he? That's what's cost him. He led with his feet. If he stretches the body out here, he gets away with it, but leading with the feet. And again, is it a red card as well for you?
Yeah, that's a nasty tackle.
Yeah, red
Patrick,
card.
That's a nasty tackle.
And a penalty, yeah. On that angle, it looks atrocious, doesn't he? I mean, the worst thing from Zainul's point of view is that if he just lays down in front with his body, he may end up giving the penalty away, but he's not going to be red carded. As soon as you lead as a keeper with your feet, we've seen some very controversial goalkeeping challenges in the world of football already this weekend with Jordan Pickford in the Merseyside derby, and that's disaster. Now, one assumes they're going to have to make the goalkeeping change here. Hyrule, who is an experienced campaigner, he's just getting ready to warm up. Now, of course, Norelli's got a decision to make as to who he sacrifices to replace the goalkeeper. At the moment, Stipe Plazibat staring at an empty net. Well, it's not going to be Stipe Plazibat to take it, by the way. Is that Song Il-yong getting ready to take the penalty? Well, I can't believe Stipe Plazibat's not got that in his contract. And it's going to be Song. And they're taking their sweet time here to decide who they're going to replace to get a keeper between the sticks. We know the goalkeeper will be Hyrule.
So, Patrick, let's not forget, we have the under-23 age rule. And that's the reason why, you know, Geylang has to think properly who they want to take out.
They have to keep the 3 under-23 players on for the first half of action, so that's why it's almost like a game. It's not as straightforward as it is when you're playing Football Manager at home. Poor old Norelli has got a lot of things to think about here, and they're taking their time, really are taking their time. I can see the team manager there. Is he actually on the phone? There was actually a phone call made there. Now, I wonder whether they're saying, because it's right on half-time, whether they're allowed to make that change now. I think the request was made. Leonard Coe, the team manager, that's extraordinary. I don't think I've ever seen that before. He's on the phone there. They've made the move now, and it will be sacrificed. It's going to be, well, the number 28 went up, so Zaffarul. Yeah, Zaffarul is going to be the man sacrificed to allow Hyrule to come on. So Lion City Sailors, in an open and attractive game, we could easily have got into the break all square. Stipe Plazibat ultimately did the best between the two teams, but now Geylang with a mountain to climb. Zainul sees red. Hyrule comes on to try, you have to think, keep this game alive, Philippe. If they score this penalty, 2-0 down against the Sailors playing with 10, surely it's going to be the longest second half that Geylang would have experienced in many a time. So,
yeah, to go 2-0 down on the stroke of half-time and with one player down, it's going to be tough for Geylang.
So it's going to be Song.
That's right.
Up against Hyrule. Hyrule, the first thing he's going to have to do is either pick the ball up off the back of the net or celebrate a penalty save. Oh, and he very nearly celebrated a save, just the wrong way, but Song's power too much for him. And right on half-time with the last kick of the first half, and what a dramatic end to the first half it is. The Lion City Sailors go 2-0 up here at Bishan. Philippe Paul, well, as a contest, I'm afraid that last 2 minutes that we've just witnessed may have spoilt it, but what a shame. Can't take anything away from the penalty from Song Il-yong, though.
Yes, well-taken penalty from Song. drilled it into the corner. Well, 2-0 down, one man down. It's going to be tough for Geylang.
It certainly is, and such a shame, Philippe, because they have been so competitive to this point. I mean, you know, they had a great opportunity themselves. Noor Luckman really should have scored, blasted over when Hassan Sunny was advancing. Chris van Heusen's looked bright. Zekos has had his moments. Ferdous, Harith Kanadi. Several players have had good games. Maybe not so much Barry Maguire and Yuichi Ichikawa, but the Lion City Sailors have made them pay the price big time. Stipe Plazovic in the 8th minute, and 3 minutes in time added on. Song Il-yong converting a penalty one after Zaina was red-carded for a dangerous challenge. And just to confirm, Philippe, in real time, I wasn't entirely sure. I thought it was a penalty. Not sure about the red card, but when you see it on the replay, when you lead with the studs up like that, the referee's made exactly the right decision there, hasn't he?
Yes, definitely that's a red card for me. The way he went in with his stud showing, that's a really bad tackle.
So 2-0 here. I will keep you up to date with the scores at Jurong West as well, where it's also a 2-0 scoreline in favour of Albrechts Nagata. Stay with us. More reflection from Philippe to come as we bring you live AIA Singapore Premier League action from Bishan.
Let's talk about a little bit of the amendments that have been made to the laws of the game for this particular season. 5 substitutes per match. There will be water breaks, and also a change in the way it's going to be this season. There will be only 2 rounds and no Singapore Cup. So let's go one by one. The 5 substitutes and the water breaks, that's something that we've seen in the European leagues when they did have the restart. Is that something in a similar vein that you're thinking, yeah, the risk of injury and hydration, especially during this time, that's important for the players?
Absolutely. They have not seen competitive action for 7 months or nearly 7 months. While they may have trained or started training in full over a month ago, I think the condition of the body may not have been used to what they will experience from tomorrow. So we have the competitions committee as well as the medical committee coming together to look at all aspects, how to safeguard and prevent any form of injuries as much as we can without compromising what the competition is all about. So the 5 substitution addresses that, to be able to give more players the chance to get onto the pitch and get into the groove of things. Water breaks, very simply, is to prevent injuries, to be able to. And of course, the other reason is when you do have dedicated water breaks like that, it's easy to be able to control that the players drink from their assigned bottles as compared to during half-time or full-time only. So that's one. And then coming to the competition, as I said, we ran out of days to be able to complete 3 rounds, which we typically have in a season. But we decided we'll go down to 2 rounds to be able to finish the season. Unfortunately, the Singapore Cup is a massive competition. I know there are clubs who do have Cup journey as one of their key priorities as well. Obviously, it gives you passage into the regional tournaments in AFC. But we want to get over that line to get the season done. And of course, the Cup will be back next year.
Philippe alongside me here at the Bishan Stadium. We're at half-time. It's 2-0 to the Lion City Sailors against Geylang International at 8th minute. First goal in Sailors' colours for Stipe Plazovic, and then a Son Il-yong penalty with the last kick of the first half after Zainal saw red for a shocking challenge. There are the stats, and the stats obviously do indicate it's been a relatively competitive match up to this point.
Yes, both sides have chances. Geylang had one really good chance through Noor Luckman. The difference is Lion City Sailors take their chances and Geylang did not.
Just to confirm, those corner stats are unfortunately wrong. It's 3-2. But as much as we talk about Plazovic because he got the goal so early on, the defending from Geylang simply not up to standard in that passage of play.
Yeah, you lost the first challenge, slow to react to the second ball, and we all know Stipe is a predator in this situation.
Again, I mean, we're going to be talking a lot about Zainal, but let's talk about him with that goal. Should he have done better from the goal? Always difficult when you're in a crowd of players after Tajeli gets it in. Is that a shared responsibility between Ichikawa and Zainal to take responsibility for that goal?
It was difficult for Zainal because he was moving to the left.
Now this was Barry Maguire getting it out wide to Chris Van Heusen. Look how good this pass is. Lovely from Van Heusen across the edge of the sharp box. Just off the line by that hand to Jelly again. I hope we get a chance to see as well Nur Lukman's effort went over the bar, but they did create opportunities in the first half.
Yes, Geylang have two clear chances, and this was one of them. And Van Heusen on the flanks is giving Akari Abdullah big problems because he could go both ways, on the left or on the right.
Yeah, it's a lovely ball. It's a nightmare for Hassan Sunny, that, because you really, as a goalkeeper, if you commit, you can end up looking very silly if someone just darts it in front of you. But Chris Van Heusen, all the credit in the world. They had a great opportunity from Nur Lukman. I hope we get a chance to see that. I mean, 3 or 4 times they looked like they could have scored, but this was the lightning counter-attack and a delightful ball for Hafiz Noor. And Hafiz Noor does everything right, takes Zainal out the equation, but just Darren Tay back in time. But really like what you saw there, just the pace, power, and inventiveness of that attack going from end to end so quickly.
And yes, this counter attack came from a corner, and before this there was one other chance from a corner as well.
I don't think there was more than 3 touches there between Hassan Sunny touching it and the effort really going in. And this was the moment right on half-time where Zainal lost his mind there. I mean, it's obviously reckless. In real time, I wasn't convinced it was a red in slow motion. I agree with you, and you called it, Philippe, straight away in real time, a cast-iron red card. But Zainal's effectively probably given up his team's chances of winning for that reckless foul on Arshad, who we should just be grateful is not seriously hurt with that.
Yes, look at this tackle. It's a poor challenge from Zainal. Luckily for Arshad, he did not plant his foot on the ground.
Yeah, and of course that led to the goalkeeping substitution with Hyrule coming on as Zaffarul had to be the sacrificial lamb. Decent penalty, even though Hyrule went the right way. And just going back to that challenge for the penalty, if that's an outfield player, your goalkeepers you tend to be a bit more sympathetic with, don't you? If that's an outfield player, we'd be like screaming to him to be banned for months and months. But a goalkeeper tends to get not so much the benefit of the doubt, but you tend to sort of try and find a reason why he had to go in like that. But there was no excuse for that. If he lies down and just uses his body to block the ball, he may well concede a penalty, but he's not going to be red carded. Yes,
definitely. But let's not forget, for goalkeepers, you know, they've been training in groups of 5. And just 1 month before the start of this resumption of the league, they do 11v11. But in this kind of situations, that's what the goalkeeper needs to pick up in friendly matches and things like that.
We didn't get a chance to see Nur Lukman's chance in that highlight reel, but there was a gilt-edged opportunity, even better than the one that Tajeli cleared off the line. Again, as Van Heusen involved in the build-up play, they did manage to open up the Lion City Sailors, just couldn't keep it down. And we mentioned it in commentary, that ultimately is the difference between the 2 teams, notwithstanding the red card right in half-time, because that's put a bit of a slant on proceedings. But up until that penalty and red card, the difference between the 2 teams was the predatory instinct of Stipe Plazovat.
Definitely, and that's why Lion City Sailors pay big money to bring him back in.
Okay, Philippe, lovely to have you with us here live at Bishan. We'll be bringing you more of Philippe Orr's news and views. We'll keep you up to date with what's happening as well at the Geelong West Stadium, where Albirex Nagata lead Young Lions by 2-0. So 2-0 there, 2-0 here. But are there more twists and turns? On the second day of return, after 211 days out, the AIA Singapore Premier League is back. It's game on, and we'll be game on back at Bishan in just a couple of moments. Stay with us.
Let's talk about a little bit of the amendments that have been made to the laws of the game for this particular season. 5 substitutes per match. There will be water breaks, and also a change in the way it's going to be this season. There will be only 2 rounds and no Singapore Cup. So let's go one by one. The 5 substitutes and the water breaks, that's something that we've seen in the European leagues when they did have the restart. Is that something in a similar vein that you're thinking, yeah, the risk of injury and hydration, especially during this time, that's important for the players?
Absolutely. They have not seen competitive action for 7 months or nearly 7 months. While they may have trained or started training in full over a month ago, I think the condition of the body may not have been used to what they will experience from tomorrow. So we have the competitions committee as well as the medical committee coming together to look at all aspects, how to safeguard and prevent any form of injuries as much as we can without compromising what the competition is all about. So the 5 substitution addresses that, to be able to give more players the chance to get onto the pitch and get into the groove of things. Water breaks, very simply, is to prevent injuries, to be able to. And of course, the other reason is when you do have dedicated water breaks like that, it's easy to be able to control that the players drink from their assigned bottles.
Yes.
As compared to during half-time or full-time only. So that's one. And then coming to the competition, as I said, we ran out of days to be able to complete 3 rounds, which we typically have in a season. But we decided we'll go down to 2 rounds to be able to finish the season. Unfortunately, the Singapore Cup is a massive competition. I know there are clubs who do have Cup journey as one of their key priorities as well. Obviously, it gives you passage into the regional tournaments in AFC. But we want to get over that line to get the season done. And of course, the Cup will be back next year.
We're back live at the Bishan Stadium, second half not too far away. Lion City Sailors leading Geylang International by 2 goals to 0 at the break. As Stipe Plazibat opener just 8 minutes in to his Lion City Sailors career. And then a penalty right on half-time converted by Song Eul-yong after Zainal had brought down Arshad. And unfortunately, the Geylang keeper seeing red for that, which means Hyrule has had to come in to the expense of Zafrul, who has been sacrificed. So the Lion City Sailors are halfway there, and surely now they can see their first 3 points of the season in their sights. Very difficult to see Geylang International coming back into this in the second half. But having said that, stranger things have happened, and if psychologically Noor Ali can get into them that this game is not over, you never know if they get the first goal in the second half. But Philippe Poor is alongside me. Philippe, it's going to be very, very tough, isn't it? Because, you know, even if they're with 11 men on the field and go in at half-time 2 down, there's something to cling on to. But when you're playing the Lion City Sailors, who've already shown, I mean, they were creating space on the field when they were playing against 11 of Geylang. My concern in this second half,
because if he chases the game and the game becomes wide and open, Stipe will be loving it because he loves space and he can run on to true balls from Song.
so
But
obviously, I was going to say, Noor Ali's the one that's got the puzzles to solve at half-time. If you're Aurelia Vidmar, what do you do, conversely, to send your team out for the second half, playing against 10 men? Obviously, bearing in mind how the first 2 games went, he would, I'm sure, in his mind, be wanting to make a statement here. This isn't one of those games where this guys just pass it from side to side, wind the clock down, just take the 2-0. I think, in terms of a statement, as to terms of what the Lion City Sailors are trying to achieve, he's going to probably say to them, keep playing as you're playing, you're creating chances, let's put 7 or 8 on these guys.
Yeah, so why should we put a brakes to it? You know, it's continue what they have been doing.
Well, he's putting the 2 strikers. He's going for this.
And,
well, strap on your seatbelts because he's putting the strike force on here. They're going to have a go by the looks of the thing, Geylang. Zikos is off. He is replaced by Cairo Nizam, and Iqbal is coming on as well. And Cairo Nizam and Iqbal, they look to be forming a tiny strike partnership before COVID struck, so this could get interesting.
In defense, they've taken off the roller, and they've brought on a new signing, Adam Hakim.
Adam Hakim, the new signing, is coming on to replace Narula, was that?
Yes, that's right.
Adam Hakim, just making a note of all this. And as you mentioned, Iqbal Hussain will come on to replace Noor Luckman. So, well, it looks like, against all expectations, he's going to play 2 up top here, playing with 10 men. So this could get very interesting very quickly in this second half. What do you expect from those changes, Philippe?
So for Khairul Nizam and Iqbal Hussain, I'm pretty sure before this match, it was a planned substitution. You know, to go in 1-0 down, 11 men, make these 2 changes, take out the young boys, Zikos and Lukman, put on established internationals in Khairul Nizam and Iqbal. But that red card and goal considered at halftime really changed everything.
Well, 45 minutes to go. Will it be the longest 45 minutes in Geylang International's season so far? Remember, they came into this weekend second in the Singapore Premier League. They've already been usurped yesterday by wins for Hougang and Balestier. And the weekend is about to get worse, you fancy, unless they can pull off what would be one of the all-time comebacks in AIA Singapore Premier League history. Shardan with the clearance. That's going to take a bounce that Nishikawa has to deal with. Stipe Plazabet is lurking. Darren Tay asked a question there, got to head to it first, but it's coughed up to now Kidin, now Shardan. And again, I think this is going to be the pattern of this half. The Lion City Sailors are going to enjoy huge amounts of possession, and look at the spaces and gaps they're finding already. Stipe Plazabet and Hafiz Noor waiting in the penalty area. Akari can't get there, and it's out for a goal kick. But again, it was a wide open game with plenty of space on the pitch before the red card. Now, Philippe, I mean, it looks like at times it's a 5-a-side. Well,
it really depends on how Geylang is going to approach this second half. If they go out and put numbers to attack, on the other way when Home United gets the ball and they counter-attack. So we can see end-to-end action.
Well, I'm sure Iqbal and Khairul Nizam's instruction has been just to go out there and try and be a nuisance, because for all we're playing with 10, we could have scored a goal in that first half. They don't look rock solid at the back. Maybe complacency will set in, and there's an argument for saying it was complacency that cost the Lion City Sailors in those 2 unsuccessful outings before the break. The 1-1 draw against Tanjung Pagar, when they played the game as if they just expected to score the winning goal with no sense of urgency, and at Tampines, where they went in 0-0 at half-time and in the second half just got overrun. That's going to be out of play from Hafiz Noor, over the line in the air. The assistant referee on the near side had a really good look at it. Reminder, there's a water break on the 70th minute mark. Just a quick word about that score we're hearing coming in from Jurong West as well at half-time. Albrecht Nagata leading the Young Lions by 2-0. Going to be another long season for the Young Lions, and I don't think we can rule Albrecht completely out of title contention, can we? They've got so much success in their recent past, albeit the turnover of players constantly makes it difficult for them.
Yeah, so every single season, Albrecht change 70 to 80% of their team. You know, they become stronger in the second half of the season, and this circuit breaker is definitely good for them.
That was lovely from Hafiz Noor. He's played in now Kidin. Now Kidin with the cross. And Hyrule, well, that's the first time he's touched the ball in open play prior to the half-time break. All he had to do was pick the ball up for the back of the net. Thought he was going to get to that penalty for a minute, by the way. Dived the right way.
Yeah, but there was a good penalty by Song.
And of course, Hyrule's going to be busy, because one assumes it won't just be a one-game ban. I wouldn't have thought that Sino gets for that challenge. As Iqbal cuts inside. Iqbal was looking for Khairul Nizam. It's not reached Khairul Nizam, but it's got to Barry Maguire. Now it's reached Khairul Nizam. He pulls the trigger to Iqbal. Where's this passage of play come from? Iqbal now with the cross. Man over on that far side in plenty of space. 2 bites at the cherry. And you have to say the opportunity for Chris Van Heusen went just as quickly as it arrived there with that air shot.
So that was a good attack from Geylang. Yeah, Maguire linking up with Nizam, Iqbal and Van Heusen, their front 4.
Certainly so. Promising for Geylang, and they're going to get a corner here. It will be their 3rd corner of the game. And it comes at a time when they're trying to cope with the first of 45 minutes that they've got to now deal playing with 10. 3 minutes into this second half, they've got 42 to go.
It'll be interesting
Plenty
if Geylang gets one from this corner.
Plenty of height here forward for Geylang. Adam Hakim, of course. He's got plenty of height on him. Barry Maguire making a nuisance of himself at the near post. And Maguire Hassan Sunny's been perfect. You sort of recalled at that corner. Would you think it was a wasted opportunity?
Yes, 3 corners for Geylang, and Van Huysen taken them all, and all 3 has found the palms of Hassan Sunny.
Darren Tay's coughed up possession in a very dangerous area. The Sailors are at the races now. Twisting and turning is Arshad, and he'll win a free kick in a dangerous area. Well, Darren Tay responsible there, and if you were going to be critical of Geylang, whether it's been with 11 men or 10, they just give the ball away a little bit too easy in dangerous areas. Though that, on the face of it, it's a soft free kick, isn't it?
Yeah, just got the touch on the sheens of Arshad.
Chardin's over it. Stipe Plazibet. Well, he didn't mind Song Il-yong taking the penalty. I'm fascinated about Stipe Plazibet not being the designated penalty taker. He's had 1 attempt from this kind of range in the first half. Chardin looks like he fancies this one, and Stipe's going to leave it to him.
Oh, it's good to see that Stipe, you know, is sharing the load in terms of scoring opportunities. And yeah, I mean, he could have taken the penalty, but yeah, he's shown it with
a couple of times in that first half. He decided to pass rather than shoot as well, so that bodes well for the team ethic. Here's Chardin. Drifts it in. He's looking for Stipe, ironically, but it's headed away by Ichikawa, only as far as Arshad on the edge of the area. Barry Maguire should be able to get this clear, but again, they cough it up. Stipe Plazibet coming back from an offside position. Can't interfere. So Van Huysen puts a boot through it, and then there's a challenge through into the back of Cairo Nizam. That'll cough up a free kick. I think it was Abdil, was it, that went through the back of him there?
So with Nizam in the game, Geylang can afford to play this longer ball because he's good in the air. He's able to take the ball down and then link the midfielders in.
Which makes them wasting that previous corner all the more frustrating, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Bao Hussein. Through the middle, Barry Maguire's going to pick up the pieces here, but he's left the ball behind. And this is where the Lion City Sailors, as we saw in the first half, they can just break so quickly. Lovely ball through for Hafiz Noor, and Ichikawa's missed out here. Hafiz Noor's through on goal. Stipe Plazibet waits in the middle. Hafiz Noor twisting, turning, nearly goes down inside the area, but Ichikawa recovers well. Not entirely sure going back to Hyrule's the safest option under these circumstances, but Hyrule gets a foot through it. And again, you can't take your eyes off this one, can you, Philippe?
Yep. There's no patience in this game. After winning the ball, Geylang's going for home for Lion City Sailors, and after winning the ball, Lion City Sailors having a go at Geylang.
Barry Maguire, Darren Tay, and a rare forward for Ray. What's Darren Tay doing this far forward? Still Darren Tay. He tried to thread it through to Iqbal Hussein and just couldn't get the pass there. Oh, Darren Tay's a million miles out of position here. They could be caught short if Lion City Sailors get a quick counter-attack going now. It's lashed at by Song Il-yong. Now here's Abdil. And obviously, we were already expecting these players to tire, bearing in mind this is their first full match post-COVID. When you're playing with 10, you're going to tire even quicker, aren't you?
Yes, and especially on this pitch in the Bishan Stadium. We're talking about natural grass. And it's different, really, really different from the Astro fields.
Barry Maguire tries route one, gets cut off at the pass, and here's a chance for Chardin to pick one. He's got runners ahead of him. Switches it out to that right-hand side of Kari, I think is that. Down the right they go. It's actually Arshad, isn't it? And he tries to find Stipe Plazibet, but it's out for a goal kick. And just like that, we've played 7.5 minutes of this second half, no addition to the score. And if anything, the game following a similar pattern to the first half, and it was 11 against 11.
Yeah, that's good. That's good from Geylang, you know, because they are still being positive. They're still trying to score their next goal instead of just sit back and hit on the counters.
Ichikawa, Barry Maguire. Barry Maguire looks up. At least he's got targets up front now with Iqbal and Cairo Nizam there. And Iqbal putting a little bit of pressure on Al-Kudin. He's out for a goal kick. This quick break and play, Philippe, do give us the latest on how it's going post-COVID in your coaching endeavours with the Singapore national under-16 side. Obviously, it's tough at the best of times coaching, you know, the elite-level sports teams in Singapore with the other demands on the youngsters' time. But how's it been for you post-COVID now the under-16s coming along?
Yeah, so what we've been doing is we've been training in groups of 5. The only teams that can train 11v11.
Sorry, I've got to interrupt there. I thought we were going to get a nice break for you to talk, but Cairo Nizam picks up after a really poor clearance from Hassan Sunny. And what's he given here? What on earth is he given here? Is it going to be a drop ball? It hit the back of the referee's head, I think is what he was saying. Or is it? Let's have a look back at this. Well, it was a poor clearance initially from Hassan Sunny, and it got to flick the referee's back of the referee's head. So, in fairness, our official there, referee Farhad Mohammed, has made the right call, frustrating as it may be for Geylang. And we will find out about the under-16s, because I want to hear about it, Philippe. But this game's so breathless at the moment, we're just waiting for maybe during the water break. We'll go into it during the water break. That gives us
that's
a
a good
safety
idea.
net. I probably should have done that anyway.
Because
that's
this game is too interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it's been end-to-end. Geylang are giving this a go. They're not playing like a team that feels they're beaten yet. Iqbal, well challenged by now Kudin, and try and take away the fact that Geylang are down to 10. How impressed have you been with the Lion City Sailors, bearing in mind the buzz and the hoopla over them before the season started, then the disappointing draw against Tanjung Pagar, the 4-0 thumping at the hands of Tampines? How have you been impressed by them?
It has been a controlled performance from them. Well, defensively, they're still a bit suspect because Geylang in the first half had good chances.
Yeah, and they keep coughing up corners, don't they? They want to put that right. That's another one they've given away from a relatively innocuous position. Was that Chardin that sliced that one? And it's going to be another chance of Van Heusen to deliver. Now, they've got height in this box now, ironically, playing with one less man, but the substitutions at half-time mean they've got options. They've gone short. Thing to enjoy about Stipe Plaza, but there's an understanding already with him and his teammates, isn't there? It's not just like one of these big money strikers, get me the ball and I'll score. He's trying to link up with Hafiz Noor. He's trying to build an understanding with Song Il-yong.
Well, his understanding with Song Il-yong goes back two seasons ago.
Of course.
Hafiz Noor.
It's Hafiz Noor, is it? No, or is it now Kudin, maybe?
Hafiz Noor.
Hafiz Noor.
Yeah.
Thank you for that confirmation. It's Hafiz Noor that's made way for Isdin. Oh! Off the line. Went in slow motion, and another corner has nearly undone Geylang International. Some 68 minutes after the first corner that the Lion City Sailors did.
Well, Patrick, the difference in corners has been the delivery. Chardin's delivery has been dangerous, and that's why he creates chances.
Yeah, well, the keeper came, Hyrule didn't get anywhere near that. And was that Adam Swandy that was all over him there? Who was that bearing through on the goalkeeper? Confirmation, as you say, quite rightly, Philippe, Hafiz Noor. He's had a good game, Hafiz Noor. He's covered plenty of ground. I wouldn't mind seeing the stats as to which players run the furthest for the Lion City Sailors. Hafiz Noor will be right up there because he's bombed up and down that flank.
Yes, definitely. In the first half, he made many runs behind Geylang defense.
I think it was Adam Swandy, by the way, that pressured Hyrule in that effort that had to be cleared off the line. Here's Isdin. He's a big old boy, Isdin, isn't he? He's a big unit to try and get past. Barry Maguire. Abdil. Well, let's not kid ourselves, Philippe, as Iqbal Hussain comes forward. Battles through and wins a free kick. That's another nasty challenge. The card's coming out here, and it's another yellow. Oh, the yellow card shown to Tajeli, who's done everything now, an assist. A goal line clearance, and now he's in the referee's book as well. All he needs is a goal to complete the set. I mean, what do you make of that decision? Obviously, I always think sometimes when a referee shows one red card, he's sometimes keen to show another. Iqbal Hussain's in some pain on the deck. Isdin, the captain, who's taken over the captain's armband, wants a chat, and Abdul's on the floor as well. How do you interpret this? It's innocuous in slow motion, didn't it?
Well, you know, between careless and reckless. So that was careless, I think, and that's why it was a yellow card.
Decision's gone the way of Geylang, so they'll get the free kick here. And is it going to be need for a stretcher? There's another change, the final change coming from Geylang. Faris Farhan. Look at the talent they've got to be able to bring Faris Farhan on last. He is going to come on to replace Harith Kanadi, who's worked very hard.
Harith has had a good game, you know. For someone so young. Yeah, he's done a good job today.
He certainly does. He's been kept busy, and it's the first order of business from Faris to come on and take this free kick. I think it is. Well, we had a Geylang player come on the pitch in his first order of business was to try and save a penalty. Hyrule failed in that. We've now got Faris Farhan coming on. His first order of business is to try and score direct from a free kick and give us the most unlikely of grandstand finishes with 10.5 minutes on the clock. So, Faris Farhan, welcome back to the SPL after COVID. Deflected, and they'll have to make do with a corner. I think it had already gone out, and it had. It'll be a corner ball. And you've already pinpointed this. This will be one of the frustrations, I'm sure, for Noor Ali, the waste of these corner opportunities they've had. And it's so ironic that Chris Van Heusen's... Well, Philippe, don't have to whisper it, Philippe. If you think it, shout it from the rooftops. I suppose in the context of the game, it's not going to really make a difference, but certainly one for Duncan at last to analyse, I'm sure, on the excellent SPL show, which wraps up all the action of the week in the SPL. Well, there'll be no hat-trick for Stipe Plazovat, but he's got a brace to get his second stint at home United, but technically his first at the Lion City Sailors. Off to a cracking start. He's led the line well. He's done so much to prove he's going to be so much more than a goal scorer for the Lion City Sailors this season. And a successful debut for the big-name signing during the COVID break.
Yes, you know, he's been brought in to do this, do the job, score goals, create chances. And yeah, he's put in a good performance today. 2 goals, and definitely we're going to see more of him scoring more goals.
Just to update you with what's happening over at Jurong West. Last we heard it was 3-0 as the flag goes up this time for offside. That was definitely offside, wasn't it, Philippe?
By miles.
Brandon Maguire, he's huffed and he's puffed, but just not been able to live with the strength and depth in terms of the midfield quality that the Lion City Sailors have posed today as we go inside the final 3 minutes. Now down this far side, now the flag's up against Geylang International. So again, in a strange way with that red card at half-time, if you're Noor Ali, obviously you'd made a strong start to the season already if you're Geylang International with those wins against the Young Lions and Hougang. Obviously they were dismal in that opening game of the season. I don't know if you remember the game against Albrechts when they ended up playing with 9 men. So, you know, only 4 games into the season after this, and again, I know it's been about 7 months long, but Noor Ali's going to have experienced every gamut of emotion. The disaster against Albrechts, the red card here, and I suppose that will be a concern, the fact they picked up another red card here today. That makes it 3 for the season.
Yeah, that's right.
From 4 games, that's not the kind of return you want to see, is it?
Yeah, so the thing is, you know, they're going to draw positives out of this game. And definitely there are positives from the Geylang side. They still, despite with 10 men, they still try to play their football through midfield. I think for Noor Ali, he has just got to go back and sort out the defensive shape and also the understanding of the back line, because the Lion City Sailors created some good chances today.
They're like the good, the bad and the ugly, Geylang. Ugly when they comes to some of their fouls that pick up red cards. Good when they're in free-throwing form like they were against Hougang. And bad, well, I think you've alluded to the defending. That might fit that book. Are we going to get 4-0 Lion City Sailors? Yes, we are. The flag stays down and it's 4. There was a nervous look across to check the flag had stayed down, but stay down it did. And they've added another goal. Is that Sharal Ishak that's claiming it? It is. So Sharal Ishak, and again, you know, we talk about Stipe Plaza, Adam Swandy, Gabriel Quack. Almost lost in all the furore is the fact that one of the great names of Singapore striking, Sharal Ishak's come off the bench. He won't score an easier goal all season, but he scored a goal, and now it's 4. And is this just tired legs now haunting Geylang, Philippe?
Oh, definitely. You know, we are approaching the final minutes of the match, and this is the first time they have played in 6 months.
Well, 4-0 the Lion City Sailors. A tad unflattering on Geylang, I think, bearing in mind the circumstances of this game. I mean, the Lion City Sailors have been the better team, but Geylang have huffed and they've puffed, and really with a mountain to climb after going down to 10 men, as the Lion City Sailors just about managed to get that one clear. Incidentally, it's 4-0 as well at Jurong West, so Albrechts have added a 4th. Tomoyuki Doi. So we've had 4 goals and 4 goal scorers at Jurong West, with Albrechts leading the Young Lions 4-0. We've had 4 goals and 3 goal scorers here. And a red card. Never a dull moment as we go into time added on for stoppages. Have we seen from the 4th official how much is going to be flagged on? Just the 3 minutes. I think that might be a question of putting Geylang International out of their misery. Remember to keep checking back to the Football Association of Singapore social media channels and One Play Sports as well for all the post-match reaction here, as the Lion City Sailors pick up their first win of the campaign. Oh, look at this. Adam Swandy will win a late corner here. What has been illustrated in the second half, again, we haven't seen them against a fully fit and full complement of opposition, but it's just illustrated how strong they are in depth, the Lion City Sailors, to be able to interchange out and not really, I mean, all it means is you're swapping quality for quality, but just fresher legs.
Yeah, that's it. The bench that they brought on are all Singapore national players. And what a bench to have.
Another corner. Seen some good chances created from corners. And that's missed out everyone. I think that touched the top of 2 Geylang International players' heads, and I think everyone here's got the cue in the rack. They just want to get into the dressing rooms and start looking forward to what, in all likelihood, will be another match day for them both next weekend.